So the two things that we are going to go over today are the calendar and the reminders application. And both of these can be found on your phone or your iPad or a MacBook. So I'm going to just directly start screen sharing my phone so you can both see the two applications and why we use both of them and how it can help you become more organized in your daily routines. So I'm just going to start screen sharing. Okay, so if everyone can see my screen, this is what we're going to focus today on. So at the top of the screen, I have two applications. One is called Reminders and one is called Calendar. These are two apps that are on everyone's iPhone or iPad. You have to probably search for it, swipe left or right through your phone or iPad to find these two. But these are pre-installed applications that you should have if you do have an Apple device. So this is an iPhone right now. And these two apps are similar in a way to keep you organized, but they do two different things. So obviously for the calendar, that is where you're going to add any events that's going to happen in the future. So by events, I mean doctor appointments. You can put the Zoom meeting in there, any classes that you attend, hobbies, exercise classes, art classes, things like that, upcoming birthdays, a party. That's what you would put in your calendar, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But next to that is something called reminders. And reminders are not really used for any of those events that I, specified. For reminders, it's kind of going to be tasks that you do throughout the day, and you want your phone or iPad or MacBook to remind you. So, for example, if you are wanting to go to the groceries next week or this week, you would create a shopping list and put it in your reminders so your phone can remind you of what grocery items you need. And I'm going to show you later how you can put a shopping list and how you can tick off the boxes, once you purchase those items. You could put a reminder for, taking a medication. So if you know you need to take a pill at a certain time of the day, you would put that in your reminder so your phone can remind you to take your medication. If you want to start a new hobby or something, like every single day I want to go outside and walk for 30 minutes, the reminders can help you become motivated because you'll see a little alert on your phone saying go out and walk, for 30 minutes. So it's kind of like small tasks that you would do throughout the day. But we're going to focus first on the calendar. So I'm going to open it up by just clicking on the icon. And for me, this is how the calendar looks like as soon as I open it up on an iPhone. If you are in a different format or view, you might be a little zoomed into it. You may see one specific day. Sometimes it could look like this, but all you have to do is just click on the month that we're in. So January 2023, you just click on where it says January, and it should open up to the full screen. Sometimes it's even zoomed in closer where it's just the actual day and it looks like that, and that's perfectly fine as well. Any view that you see right now on your phone, or if you try it later today, these are all correct ways. Nothing's going to change for the steps on how to add events, whether your phone looks like this, whether it looks zoomed out like that, or even the furthest zoom like this. They're all correct. So what we're going to focus on is adding events to our calendar. And it's really important to add events to our calendar. So our phone is like our kind of like our backup. So you may have a physical calendar in your house right now where you write down doctor appointments, different upcoming events. But now with the digital world, we want to start using our calendar that we just have right at our fingertips, only because it's going to make your life easier. And I say this because your phone is like a tool. Every time you have an upcoming event, it's going to give you a message right on your phone screen, and you get to, manage and change how many messages your phone should get, send you about this event, when it should send you a message. Whereas physical calendar, you only write it down once and then you have to keep looking at it. However, the phone is going, or your tablet or iPad is going to constantly remind you of this upcoming event. So how do we add events on the calendar if you've never done it before? So on the screen here, we have some icons at the top of the screen, and we have some icons at the bottom of the screen. But we're going to focus on the plus sign that's in the top right-hand corner. So all the way at the top right-hand corner, there's a red plus sign. We're going to click on that to add events to our calendar. Once you click on the plus sign, something like this should appear on the screen. If this does not show up, that means you didn't properly click on the plus sign in the top right-hand corner, but this is what it should appear. And what you're simply going to do is fill out this form. So let's say today, January 5th, and I currently wanted to add in my calendar this tech session that we are in. So I'm going to start filling out the information, starting with the title. So I put tech class. Under that is location. So let's say this was a doctor's appointment or a party you were going to, or a reservation for a restaurant. You could put location at, and put out an address. You don't have to. Nothing will happen if you don't. If you want to get very, specific, you could put the 2600 Netherland Avenue, which is where the center is. And that's where the tech class is happening right now. Then we have something called starts and ends. So start is when the class starts, when your appointment starts, and when it ends. So right now it's all good. It's on January 5th at 11 o'clock. That's when it happens. But let's say, your appointment was at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock today. You would simply just click on where it says 11, and some numbers have opened up now. And you're just gonna take your finger and move it up or down. You're gonna use your finger and touch on the numbers and move them up and down. So it's kind of like a wheel. You're moving the wheel up and down to the correct time that you want. So if the class was at 1 o'clock or your appointment was at 1 o'clock, you simply just move it. If it was like at 1:30, you move the next numbers. That's the procedure all the time. So I'll just say 1 o'clock for now. So the thing starts at 1 o'clock. And let's say you know that the appointment lasts longer. It's a 2-hour appointment. So you just simply change it to 1 to 3 o'clock. And now you change the times. Time zone is New York. If you live somewhere else, you could change that as well. I don't really touch that. Travel time is if you want to be very, very specific and you're traveling maybe by a bus or a train, you can add in the travel time to, how long it's going to take you to get to that appointment. I don't really use that because I use Google Maps to tell me how long it's going to take me to get to a location. But you can add in travel time. Just let's say you were physically going to the doctor's appointment, you want to add in that travel time so you know when to leave the house. So you wouldn't leave at 1, you would leave like at 12 or 11:55, things like that. Once you finish with the time, so everything looks good, right? 1 to 3 o'clock, let's just pretend we scroll down. And we have some very important things that we want to include before we finish our event. So my doctor's appointment is at 1 o'clock and it ends at 3 o'clock. But I actually want my phone to remind me of this appointment, right? Because it is good that I put it in my calendar, but if we don't tell our phone to alert us and to remind us of this event, then there's kind of no point of putting it in our calendar unless we're always going to check it constantly over and over. If we put an alert, our phone can just remind us, okay, it's coming up, so I don't have to constantly check my calendar. I don't even have to worry about it because I know my phone is automatically going to send me a message, and that's what we really want to do. So we actually have a row called alert. And once we click on that, you can actually see it opens up and it tells you, when do you want your phone to remind you of this event? Do you want a message 5 minutes before? 10 minutes, 15, you can do an hour, you can even do a week before. So let's say you have a doctor's appointment and you know put you in a whole month in advance. You may want to say, reminds me in 1 week, and then add a second alert, which is right under alert, and then say, reminds me maybe the day before. So by doing these two things, you're telling your phone, you're telling your iPad, you're telling your MacBook, please send me an alert 1 week before my doctor's appointment and 1 day before my appointment. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So that is adding alerts, and it's very important to add alerts. If you do not add an alert, I mean, it's perfectly fine, but you do want to then always look at your calendar on your phone or iPad. So that's like specifically for, doctor's appointments, restaurant reservations, dentist appointment, anything like that, right? Appointments. But once again, I put tech class, right? So let's say this is a tech class or it's a Zoom meeting at RSS, at another organization. You do Zoom meetings with your building or with a club that you are in. If it's a Zoom meeting or something like that sort, all the way at the bottom, we have something called URL and notes all the way at the bottom. So you have to scroll down with your finger to find it. With URL and notes, that is where you can add the Zoom meeting link. So today, to join this Zoom meeting, the center sends everyone the daily emails, and then you clicked on my Zoom link to get here. However, if you want to get very, organized and keep up all the time and have it always in your calendar, what you could do is copy and paste that URL link, that blue link that you all click on to join the Zoom meeting. And you can actually paste it right here in that URL section. Why should you do that? Why would you want to do that? Because every time you come to this tech class or any other Zoom meeting, every time you get that alert, it's actually going to attach it with that Zoom meeting link that you get for Zoom meetings. You don't have to go crazy looking for it in your inbox, trying to find where's the Zoom meeting link. Instead, if you keep it organized and you already put it in your calendar, whenever you get that alert, it's going to show you that Zoom meeting link all the time when the event is coming up. Just a way to kind of make it faster And just for you not to stress out, if you ever lose an important email that has a Zoom meeting, you always have the calendar as a backup of where the Zoom meeting link is. So all you have to do is copy and paste it in that URL. And then you could, the password for this class is always tech, but let's say if you didn't know the password, you could always put it in your notes and put password. You could put something like that so you can remember it, or whatever the password is. You could write it down somewhere. I usually put it in the notes. You could do something like that. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So one last thing before I move on, which is very important. So we filled out, the title, we filled out the location, we have the time, we have our alerts 1 day before, 1 week before. But since we are on the topic of Zoom meetings and meetings in general, for RSS, our Zoom meetings are usually every week on the same day, on the same time. So this technology class is happening every Thursdays at 11 o'clock for this whole entire month. So there is an option where you can repeat this class and get these same exact alerts every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Right now, where it says repeat, there's the word never. So what that means is that if I finish adding this event, all it's going to do is alert me of this one singular event, and that's it. I'm not going to get reminded of it for next week or the week after that or the week after that. However, if I change where it says never, where repeat is, I can tell my phone or iPad or MacBook that every Thursday at 11 o'clock, so let me just change it to 11. Okay, so I want to tell my phone that every Thursday at 11 o'clock is my technology class that I want to go to. Where it says repeat, I'm going to change it to every week. So that means on every Thursday, my phone is going to tell me you have a tech class, and it's going to give me an alert the day before and the week before. Make sure to use that repeat option so you don't have to fill this out every single week, right? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so the last step is once you have everything set, you have your title, you have your location if you would like. If you have your time ready, your repeat option is on if that, if it's a meeting like it's happening every day or time. You have your alerts on and you put your URL at the bottom. You don't have to put the URL, but it's just a way to keep everything in one place. If you like going to our daily emails and clicking on the link that way, that's totally fine. This is just kind of like a backup option if you wanted to put the Zoom link where it says URL. But once you fill all this information out, the last step is to click on the word add on the top right-hand corner, all the way at the top. So it's in red for me. And once you click on that, it's immediately going to add these events to the calendar. In this case, because I put every week, it's going to add it every single week on Thursdays at 11 o'clock. And you should be all set for that. Let's say I do click add and I make a mistake, right? So I'm gonna click add and you see that it added it to my calendar. Let's say I made a mistake and I need to fix it. You simply are going to just click on it again and you're going to hit the word edit on the top right hand corner. Once you do that, you're back at the same form that we were just filling out. And you can, change whatever mistake that you made. If you forgot to put the repeat, if you forgot to put an alert, if you wanted to, put the Zoom link now that you have it and paste it in there, you can. You can always change it, even when, like, let's say the class gets canceled or the time changes, you always have the option to edit it. And what's really cool is that because I put the location, your iPhone or iPad or MacBook actually gives you a map of where it's located and where it is, where's the building, how to get there, right there on the picture at the bottom of the screen. But that's how you would add events, add alerts on a calendar. Does anybody have any questions? You could say it in the chat. You can unmute yourselves. Once you do add something to the calendar, you're going to have gray little circles right under where the number is on the calendar. So, for example, New Year's was on January 1st. So the New Year's number one has a little gray circle. It's very faint on my phone. It might be a little darker on your phone because I'm using dark mode. But January 1st has a gray little circle, and you can see that when I clicked on January 1st, it says New Year's Day. So whenever there's like a specific holiday or something like that, or even when you add your appointments now in the future, they'll be indicated by a gray circle right under the number. So this is what you would mostly use your calendar for, specifically for events, appointments, adding, your Zoom meetings or any other meetings that you attend. Um, that's like the kind of the most simplest way to use it. You can get very fancy in the future, and what you can start doing is adding people to the calendar, like inviting people so then they can have it on their calendar, but that's kind of the more advanced version. But simply just adding events like I showed you, adding alerts and repeating. So if nobody has any other questions about the calendar, we are going to move on to the second application that you can use on your iPhone or iPad or MacBook to help you stay more organized. So once again, the next application we are going to be using is called Reminders. It's right next to the calendar app. It has like a blue, a red, or orange circle. If you never used it before, once you click on it, it is going to say start or continue, something like that at the bottom. So make sure you click on that. These are pre-installed applications. So everyone should have these unless you may deleted it by accident. But every single iPhone version does have the reminders and the iPad as well, because I did this class on Tuesday and everybody at the center had different phone versions, different iPhone 6, iPhone 8, I have the 13. They all had the reminders app, so it should be there for you. So once you click on reminders, you're going to open it up and it's going to look something like this. Now, if you opened it up and something said like continue or update, anything like that, if that appeared when you opened that screen, please make sure to click on it and click the word update or continue that's in blue at the bottom. If you did not click update or you hit a cancel button or something like that, your version right now is going to look completely different than my version on the screen. But if everyone's phone looks like this, or when they see it in the future, then I'm going to continue. But this is how it should look like. And you can see right off the bat, it is completely different than what a calendar looks like. So this is for tasks specifically. So like I mentioned earlier, when you want your phone to tell you to take a medication, right? So you need to take a pill at a certain time of day. If you need to do the laundry, you want a shopping list, you want to tell your phone to make sure to walk, meditate, anything like that, wash the dishes, call a family member, a friend, something that's going to remind you later today or tomorrow, right? It's not really used for events that are happening 3 weeks from now, a month from now. It's something that's going to happen either this week or even tomorrow, today, something like that. I'm going to show you all how to do a shopping list. But at the center on Tuesday, what some people did was they needed to go to Walgreens. So they put a reminder in there. So then her phone can tell her when she needs to go to Walgreens today. And at the bottom right-hand corner, we have something called add list. Add list is going to create a specific topic that we want to add reminders to. So I want to add a shopping list. Currently, you can see right now on my screen, I have a work list. I have a reminders list. I have a tomorrow list. So add list is going to be a specific topic. You just want to be reminded to take a medication, put that somewhere else, and I'll show you where to do that. You wouldn't create a whole entire list for taking medications or doing laundry, right? It has to be a specific topic for list. So where it says add list at the bottom right-hand corner, I'm gonna click on that. And something like this should open up and it should tell you to add your list name. So I'm going to say shopping list. And you get to choose a pretty color. So you could choose purple, pink, whatever you like to make it, fancy and organized. So anytime you see shopping list, you associate it with a particular color. Then you scroll down and you can even get more fancy by adding an icon. So what I put was the little money with coins. So you can see where shopping is. Now it has the money and coins icon. You can choose whatever you want. There is a shopping cart right here. And you can see now shopping list has the little shopping cart. Once that is done, I'm going to hit the word done in the top right hand corner. Now it's time to hit done. And now you can see where it says my list all the way at the bottom, shopping list is now there. Now I can add all my ingredients and things that I want to get at the grocery store in my shopping list. So I'm actually going to tap on where it says shopping list. And as you can see, it's completely blank. There's nothing there. It says no reminders. But at the bottom, it does say a plus sign, new reminder. That is how I can add all my ingredients, anything that I want to get at the grocery store. So I'm gonna hit new reminder. And as you can see, the keyboard has opened up on my phone and it's ready for me to type anything. So once again, you could put spices, like anything, any ingredients that you usually get, so like cereal, milk. You could add as many things that you want. Doesn't matter. So spices, cereal, milk. I don't know if you're having trouble seeing this because it is dark. Just give me one moment. Okay, I think that's better, hopefully. So now you can see shopping list. It has spices, cereal, milk. You can add a little note or something and put like almond milk because I like almond milk. Oops. So let's just add fruits. Okay, so let's say this was my shopping list. I'm ready to go to the grocery store. Now I have my ingredients. So there's a lot of things that we can do now with just this shopping list. This is kind of the most easiest and basic way to use reminders, but you could make it even more advanced to keep yourself organized. So this is kind of just like a virtual shopping list that you would write somewhere on a piece of paper, right? You would put shopping list as your header and you would write some things of what you need and bring that paper with you to the grocery store. And this is basically just a virtual tech savvy kind of version. But what's the cool thing about this one? So let's say, you got to bring your pen or your pencil to the grocery store. Once you get the spices, you have to cross it out or you give it a little check mark. With the reminders application and with this now virtual shopping list, essentially, once I click on those white circles on the left-hand side of the screen, watch what happens. So let's say I'm at the grocery store and I got my milk. I got my almond milk. It's in the shopping cart. I click on milk and it disappears. So you don't have to worry about with your pen or pencil scratching something off on the physical paper. You just click on one of the items and they disappear right off the bat. So that's something really nice in a way because it keeps you organized. You don't have to like look at the shopping list all the time and say, wait, did I get this? I don't remember. Well, if it's not on it anymore, that means you got it because it disappears automatically when you tell your phone or iPad that you got the item simply by just clicking on the circle on the left-hand side of the screen. Let's just go over some other features real quick. So that was just the basics, right? Typing in some ingredients and clicking on the circle so it disappears. However, there's a lot of more things that you can do, right? So just like with the calendar, I kind of want to be reminded of the shopping list. So let's say you weren't going to go grocery shopping today. You were actually going to go grocery shopping 2 days from now, right? You want to actually get reminded of the shopping list. Sometimes you may forget that you created this, or you just want to even add more ingredients on the shopping list or do another task. So to get an alert on your phone about this particular shopping list, we have some icons where the keyboard is. If you see like there's a little calendar, there's like a arrow, a hashtag, a flag, and a camera icon right at the bottom on top of the keyboard, essentially. Those are some of the features of the reminders application to get more advanced with your shopping list. But I'm just gonna focus today on the calendar icon that is all the way on the left-hand side, the first icon, right on top of the keyboard. So once I clicked on that calendar icon, you can see it's asking me, when is this shopping, list going to happen? When am I going to actually shop for this? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Is it this weekend? Or is it, the next week and I actually have to input a date and a time? So let's say I was going shopping tomorrow, I would hit tomorrow. And all of these would be for tomorrow. And then I would get notified that I have to go shopping for this, specific ingredients and list. But usually that's not for shopping list. That would be more like for taking a specific medication or going outside for a walk or, you know, doing some exercise, something like that. You would put a specific time. For shopping list or something, you can just write in your ingredients and tell your phone it's for tomorrow. And now you can see, because I have 2 ingredients in my shopping list, it actually is giving me the number 2 at the bottom right next to shopping list. And if I go up here where it says scheduled, all the way at the top right hand corner, see it says 3 for scheduled. So today that's nothing, so I could delete that. But you could see tomorrow it's saying I have to do my spices and I have to get some spices and fruits. And it's going to fill up all the way into December. So you could put reminders and tasks for the whole year if you wanted to. If it's something like taking a medication or going outside for a walk, I recommend clicking on where it says today. So it's at the top left-hand corner where it says today. And it gives you morning, afternoon, or tonight. So let's say I clicked on afternoon and I wanted to take a walk. Now at 3 o'clock, it's going to remind me to go outside and take a walk this afternoon. And it's really that simple. There's really nothing else to it for tasks today. If tonight you want to do like make dinner and then, take medication, that's kind of how it is. Once you do those things, you can tick them off by just clicking on that circle. So if you took your walk, you click the circle and it goes away. If you made dinner, click the circle, goes away. Take medication, it goes away. And you see with those times that says reminder 6 o'clock, it's going to remind you to take your medication or to start cooking exactly at 6 o'clock. But let's say you wanted to do it later. Once again, it's that calendar icon at the bottom left-hand corner. It's kind of like in blue now. And you can see the time 6 o'clock, but let's say you wanted to take your medication later or you want to have dinner at 7. You just change it. It's a wheel. So you use your finger and you go up or down. So instead of 6 o'clock, I want my phone to remind me to make dinner at 7. I want my phone to remind me at 8 to take my medication. And then you could always edit anything, any of your mistakes. It's not official. So anything that happens, you can always click on it and change it. So if that's wrong, you just simply tap on it again and delete it with your keyboard. So these are mostly for tasks. They're not really for long events in the future, just kind of things that happen in your daily routine that you just want to make sure you get reminded of. Sometimes you can just put it here. Instead of having tons of paper in your house. So let's say you are someone who always writes something down of something you're gonna do later today. You can use this as a backup, or if you kind of say, wow, this is actually giving me more organized, you could do that instead. because instead of having, tons of paper laying around, or even if you misplace that paper, this application is going to save your list or your reminder, your task for you. It's not going to delete unless you delete it. And you can see once you do start clicking on those circles. So if I'm going to click spices because I did it, fruits because I got my stuff. If you go to where it says completed, you can now see everything that I kind of went through today and made tasks of. I completed, and it tells you the time of when I completed it. So this can be very good for even goals for the New Year's, right? So if you have a New Year's resolution or goal you want to maintain and keep up with, this can be a great way to see your accomplishments at the ending because it tells you what you completed and the time of when you completed it. So if you stay truthful with this and use it all the time, at the end of each month or even at the end of the year, you can see everything that you accomplished. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay, so if anybody does not have any other questions, that is the end for today's class.